As the Time War rages on, the Daleks get more desperate, so they call in their creator to help them resurrect. Join me today as I will be reviewing Doctor Who Time War 4. I was really hyped for this release as soon as I found out that Time War 4 even existed. And, hell, I even pre-ordered it because how could I say no to a box set like this? Mind you, I haven't listened to any of the previous Time War ones, so I'm pretty new to this, but from what I listened to, you don't really need to listen to the previous ones. You can just hop on into this and they kind of explain stuff on the way. So, let's review it. Kicking things off, Palindrome Part 1 is an amazing episode. Palindrome as an entity is a really amazing episode. So the main premise is, basic gist of it is, Davros in another universe, this kind, very old man Davros, is making a portal. And on the fourth day, he eventually does get back to it. Well, he creates his portal and he goes out into a field and he meets a doctor and I forgot her name. Tell me your name in the comments. So they go and basically go into the portal with the Daleks surround the building and basically kill Davros's wife. Yes, Davros has a wife. And ends up killing the doctor and her. But things start going backwards, meaning everything that was building up to that day is going in reverse, and it is absolutely amazing to see what happened. Because there was an attack on the Thal City. There was tons of damages. We actually get to see Davros later on in the story, but from young Davros' point of view. Well, from non-Davros, Davros, if it makes sense? That doesn't really make sense, but it makes sense in the confines of the story. What else can I say about this episode? It's just bloody good. Same goes with... Oh, check out this transition. Palindrome Part 2. You can see me there. This episode definitely continues what Part 1 was setting up. So we actually get to see Davros become Davros. So the gist of this one is so in the end of Part 1, sorry I forgot to mention, he destroys the portal that kind of got them there. And the Time Strategist comes in. So he so basically Time Strategist is starting to merge every single version of Davros. The machine blows up, wounding Davros, getting him in that chair, and the Time Strategist starts merging every Davros from every universe into one ultimate Davros. Let it sink in for a while. Where'd he go? That's a good Coke. See what I mean? So, things are going forward for this Davros. So he knows what to say, he knows what to do. But he eventually becomes so Davros that he doesn't even recognize his own wife. Yeah. If you knew what the next story was, these stories would definitely feel kind of ruined by the next story. So, in the end, eventually they go back to the house, and there's Davros and Shan. And before, they couldn't die. Well, since there's all tons of realities into one, if one person were to die, then then another universe, they survived, and that's how they got through there. But they eventually stopped that. The Daleks converge all the timelines into one, and boom. So the Doctor and whatever her face was go through the portal, and Davros kills his wife, and then chastises Davros, the good guy Davros, into marrying a Thal. Yup. It's like, oh, you didn't, what? So I'll give a rating as we go on, and then at the end I'll give my conclusive one, like, out of 10. But for Palindrome, it is definitely, like, for these two stories alone, definitely a 9 out of 10. But that is sadly ruined with Dreadshade. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't re-listen to these stories before making this video, because I remembered lots about those episodes. But this single episode literally made me fall asleep, to the point where I do not remember a single thing about it. So, I'll tell you the beginning, and you can start seeing my frustrating. So, the Doctor and whatever faces, that's her nickname from now on, they come to the portal. Now, I was thinking, alright, this is going to be a warning story. You mean just like a little calm before the storm? You mean setting up them trying to defend against Davros, trying to find out what they're doing? Oh, when they come through the portal, they, forget who they are. Well, Doctor remembers he's a doctor, but they don't remember meeting. So, that's fun. And, something happens with the 12, Rassilon's in here. So, here's all I remember from memory. I remember her going on a rampage, and I just loved it so much, because I love her energy and enthusiasm. And the Dreadshade in question is a little being that has been conditioned to be afraid of all Time Lords. It was originally used to be afraid of the Daleks as a weapon, but now they've forgotten about the Daleks. Oh yeah, they forgot about fighting the Daleks for some reason. Because the Valeyard, am I right? Oh, the Valeyard happened in another story. I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. This guy's a really good actor. Like, the most part, I was like, these actors are doing a really good job to sell a shit story. Well, pardon my French. I don't speak French. But yeah, this one definitely kind of ruins the whole box set. Well, it doesn't really ruin, it kind of just dampers, but... Just kind of... Oh yeah, thing I've remembered, surprisingly, from this episode, is you can just skip this one entirely. I'm not even joking. You can just listen to Palindrome Part 1 and 2 and the Restoration of the Daleks and not even bother with Dreadshade. Just ignore it entirely. Which is what I'm going to do, and pretend like this thing never existed. And on to the one that I was the most conflicted about. Restoration of the... Wait. Boom. Restoration of the Daleks by Matt Fitton. Now, I like this story. First off, let's get this out of the way. It is a good story. It's not the best, but it's a good story. It's not as good as Palindrome, but it's a good story, you know? So, here's the general gist. They finally get the warning, and they go to a planet and find Davros as like a great healer. That's basically what he is. Like in if you ever seen Revelation of the Daleks. He's basically the one where people are like, I didn't know he was Davros. So, the Time Strategist, I think that's what he's called, is sucking life of Davros to power his own empire. To, if you haven't been spoiled enough already, or ignored the spoilers at the beginning of this video, you will know that the Emperor is back. That's the whole Time Strategist thing, is to bring back the Emperor. I love this. It's like, yo, this... I should stop saying yo. No. Yeah, this is a really good premise. And the Doctor and Time Strategist get put into like a pocket dimension where everything's blank in that. And so yeah, so What's-Her-Face and Davros converge for a while, and they're trying to defend off the Daleks since they got the Emperor back, so Davros is unnecessary. But Davros is also creating human Daleks. Now, Big Finish aficionados will probably tell you that this has been done before in Masters of War. Now I know it's Unbound, but for me it's a canon universe, so... Yup, goof. Alright. So, before this, the only 8th Doctor audio I've listened to, personally, is Dark Eyes Part 1. I got Dark Eyes, the first episode, for free. I listened to the Silver Turk, and that's about it for me for the 8th Doctor. So I didn't know all the characters, and when they mentioned them, I was like, I kinda get that. Well, one of the people is, right, spoilers, if you haven't been spoiled enough already. So, the Time Strategist has a capsule, and the Doctor's like, oh. So, this woman comes in and basically puts a bomb down, grabs the Doctor and the capsule. They kind of dispart parts. Doctor goes and picks her up. And then, when they open up the capsule, they find the Doctor's great-great-grandson, Adam. You guys know who Adam is, right? You know Adam. The big A. Adam, yeah, I don't know who the hell Adam is. And I was like, oh. How cool would it have been if it was Susan? We could bring Susan, because I know Susan has her own Time War one. Because it is on the cover of one of the Vortex magazines that I actually have. And I was like, oh. But yeah. Ooh, here's a funny scene that I genuinely laughed at. So, the Emperor finds Davros. And that basically ends Davros' one, is he is the scientist now. He's just stuck in like a little cupboard. But he comes into the Great Emperor and speaks with him. And he's trying to get the Daleks on his side. And one Dalek, oh, give me a second. So, one Dalek is like, so the Emperor is like, yo. So the Emperor's like, alright, who is loyal to Davros? And this one sad little Dalek goes, I am loyal, basically loyal to Davros. And the Emperor, without no question, well, I imagine he just turns to a single Dalek and then says, blast the heretic, and boom, he's dead. And it creates a civil war, totally not remembrance of the Daleks, in the chamber of the Emperor chamber. And Davros and the Emperor, kind of share some banter. Like Davros saying at one universe, him and the Emperor are the same person. And I've wanted this ever since I knew Davros and the Emperor. And I've had a, not fanfic, but an idea for an episode or Unbound series. This episode's really good. So, well, I need to give a ranking. So, Dreadshade, the single worst episode I've listened to. Well, it's not, well, it's the most forgettable episode I've ever listened to. I don't know what my worst would be, so I'm giving this 3 out of 10. And for Restoration of the Daleks, the thing that the box set is, faced after. Uh-oh. I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. I was a bit confused at times, and if you kind of blink, or the ear equivalent of blinking, you do kind of miss it. And it's like, oh, So anyway, that is so on to my general thoughts about this entire box set. So overall, what do I give Time War Volume to fuck? So overall, what do I give Time War 4 Volume 4? Nailed it. I would definitely give this box set an 8 out of 10. Dreadshade definitely does retract some points, and it can be a bit confusing at times, but if you stick through it and plow through it and completely skip Dreadshade, this is an amazing box set. So, join me next time where I finally review a late 50 subscribers, like 8 subscribers late, the Peter Cushing Dalek films. Stay tuned, and goodbye.